let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart.
.40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. .40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. These late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, good evening, everyone. TV, where tonight we have the Area 51 IndyCar Series here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, or as I and many others will probably always call it, is Gateway International Raceway. And we are here tonight for 135 laps this evening, as drivers putting down their qualifying laps as we speak. Track time at the moment is 3:40 p.m., so it's only going to start to get a little darker, a little cooler, as right now under qualifying conditions, track is 90 degrees Fahrenheit on the asphalt. Ambient is 76 degrees. So drivers putting down their laps, and so far we've had 3 races this season. And of course, this is going to be one of our first shorter tracks, I guess you could call it, with the opener being at Homestead, followed by Texas Motor Speedway, and then last week at Pocono. So tonight we are here at this smaller distance track there. You can see on the track stats there over on that left, it is a mile and a quarter distance, and you can all see very different shaped turns in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4 much flatter, but also much more open turn, and 1 and 2 a little more banking, but it's a very, very tight radius turn in comparison. So those are what these drivers are going to have to contend with this evening. And as we speak right now, those laps down. But so far this season, it's been the Edson Santos and Chris Stouffer show on the wins, as those two have won the 2 races. Edson with 2, Chris Stouffer with 1 at Texas. And Edson currently has that points margin. However, there's one guy splitting those 2 in the points, and that's Craig Forsyth. So far, the only driver to be getting a top 5 in all 3 races. So Craig's just been, he hasn't got the win he's wanted yet, but he's right there, and it's one of those things, put yourself in position. Eventually, one's going to come your way. So about 21 drivers, I think I've shown, are part of the race tonight. Like I said, so far we've got about 10 that have put a lap time in. A few more on track now. Maybe just wanted to see if maybe the track cools down a little bit or things like that. So we'll kind of wait and see what those times update to. I do hope everybody had a happy and safe 4th of July. And yeah, so we're getting back into the thick of it here as we come mid-July here. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun here tonight at this track. Very, very difficult one. Track position going to be critical. We'll be grabbing Andrew here in just a moment once he's able to hop in. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see what these guys have. So I think qualifying is going to be crucial tonight. And jokingly-ish, I'll be curious to see if Edson's going to continue his qualifying of 2nd place. That's been kind of his spot where he's been qualifying every week is P2 is where he started in all of the 3 races so far this season. So we'll see if that trend continues for him in that 20 car as well. Yeah, like I mentioned, it was only 10 cars a moment ago. Up to 16 cars have put a qualifying lap down as we speak. And I still see a few more on track. So it's slowly but surely changing. And the other thing to mention is going to be, which we'll talk about with Andrew when he gets here, is pit road. You can actually see it just on the very top of the screen there. You do not enter pit road off of turn 4. You entering turn number 3, very flat, and it's going to have very little grip through there. And then you got to get through there as quick as you can, and then try to get that car wound down to speed at the pit road entry over by the basically on the front stretch, and then also access road on pit exit as well. Also, same thing, very flat, very loose. So these drivers are going to have their work cut out for them getting on and off of pit road safely. However, with that, it looks like qualifying has just completed. So let's go ahead and get our starting grid for tonight's event. As it is going to be Craig. Whoops. Let's get everything hidden then and get the right stuff we want to look for. There we are. It's going to be Craig Forsyth on pole position, and a really good lap for him. Almost 0.04 of a second over Christopher, who is only 0.005 of a second quicker than Jim Herrick third. Matt Wagner in fourth. And unfortunately, the P2 qualifying is going to end at 3 races for Edson. He's going to qualify in the 5th position. Next to him will be Eric Peterson there 6th. Gary Laverne in 7th. Ryan Kelly 8th. Frank Irwin Jr. and Larry Yingling rounding out our top 10. And then in 11th is going to be John Borst. Hugo Galaz next to him in 12th. Then continuing down the order here, you've got Charles Teed there in 13th. Wayne Campbell in 14th. Jeff Heisong, Bill Burrell 15th and 16th. Eric Schaus in 17th. Nick Cohan 18th. And then 3 drivers opting not to qualify tonight will be Joseph Morales in 19th, Nicholas Stockner in 20th, and Chris Jabot in the 21st position. And so, yes, like I mentioned, we'll get Andrew Wood here shortly. It's like he's trying to hustle back over from real life stuff, but as soon as he's in, he will be hopping on. I believe we'll unfortunately won't have him for the next week's race, but again, I'll say it's always a pleasure to have him. So look forward to him hopping in here, as it looks like the field has completely gridded, and we're going to see the field roll off for their warm-up lap before we get underway. And the last thing to mention is fuel window. Pretty much, if you're going full rich, expect to get about 38-ish or so laps. As you see the field again rolling out a little bit later there, letting the pace car sneak away, something we've talked about all season long so far. And so that's, again, Craig just kind of letting that gap build here for that initial start, as the field will be very, very bunched up on this initial one here. So we'll keep an eye on that, of course, as well. That's going to continue to be a storyline over the course of that season. And yeah, so we're going to see what these guys have in store. But yeah, about 38 laps full rich, 135 laps, pretty much no question it will be a 3-stop race. So the question mark will be, though, is going to be if and when cautions come out, the timing of those yellows, and then, of course, maybe that dangerous window of when you're on pit road and then the other drivers can go further than you. Those are going to be the big storylines, I think, to watch for tonight, because that's, especially with this pit road entry, going to be a very, very dangerous one. You can see right there that white and yellow line. That's the entry to pit road. They're entering turn number 3. And so it's easy to overshoot that wash back up on the track through the grass, possibly get back on track, cause an accident. So that's going to be one of those trouble turns to keep an eye out for. So that said, though, coming through 3 and 4, again, Craig's the control car. He is down and away as we start our race here. 135 laps, we are green. Craig Forsyth going to lead the way over Christopher as we watch through the field, make sure everybody gets a nice and clean start. And so far, it looks so good as they head into turn 1, out of turn 2 already. Oh, big hit there out the wall there. That's going to be Stouffer, and that's going to be significant damage to his car. It looks like the right front is still on that car, but that car is not going to turn. You can already see it just rubbing up against the wall, unfortunately. So he's going to have to try to limp this thing along, but that car just did not have any temps in those tires or dirty air. But either way, we're used to him seeing climb to the front right off the bat. He's unfortunately going to drop like a rock here on this initial stint. Ooh, Eric Schaus, a little bit of a kiss there as well out of 2. I think he'll get away with that one, though. So yeah, so that's a tough break for Stouffer. That's going to pretty much immediately force him into the position of needing to take a fast repair. I don't see any way of getting around that one. So right now, the one to take advantage of that is going to be Matt Wagner. He's already jumped up into that second spot in that number 6 car. So he is up 2 spots. Edson Santos working over Jim Herrick. He's trying to get 2 spots up as well. He just completed that pass as we speak. So move Edson now up to 5th as well. And then currently highest climber is right there in the 72. We just mentioned Eric Schaus. He is up 4 spots from his initial starting position here, as he's going to try to get one more here. Looks like working over Charles Teed there in that number 50 car.
Good evening. I have arrived.
Good evening, Mr. Andrew. Good to have you. Unfortunately, I say the start went clean, but unfortunately we've had a big hit off the wall pretty much on the initial lap there. That's Chris Stouffer. He's got some heavy right side damage. And so right now he's just trying to limp that poor 13 car along as best he can, and just kind of hoping for a yellow, because but it's going to be one of those races where it's going to be a faster pair out the box for the 13, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to have that happen to you right at the start. Actually, when I loaded into the session, I was checking on his car. It loaded me right into it, and I saw the unfortunate tap on the wall there. So I already knew that it was already a bit tampered, but it's a long race, and a caution can come out at any time here. Just come right in, use that fast repair, get a second chance at life, and hopefully he'll be right back into it again.
And yeah, as I say, if there's a driver who's able to go from the back to the front, we saw it last time out, it's going to be Christopher. So we've seen him make those moves to do so. Watching Eric Schaus have a great fight with Wayne Campbell. Eric was trying to put a move on T the lap before, lost his momentum. Wayne was able to take advantage of it, and he's going to hold that spot. And then once again, same thing here. Schaus tried to make a move on Wayne, couldn't get it done. And now Jeff Heisong trying to take advantage in that number 18. So far what I'm seeing here, Andrew, is it's all about keeping that momentum built up, where if you get kind of wound down, it's going to allow that car behind you to maybe try to get a big chance to make a move on you.
This is definitely one of those tracks that momentum means everything. And if you don't have the momentum, then, or it gets hampered by any sort of issue you have with a driver that you're following, then it hurts you for lap after lap after lap. And now I see that Stouffer has officially reached the back of the field, so he's going to be crying for a yellow flag at some point that he can get his race back in order again.
Yeah.
But it's very nice to see that some of these guys that have had a little bit of a rough start to the season have come up towards the mid-pack and racing at the front again. And there are definitely some people that even in the race last week, or 2 weeks ago, that they felt like there was something in it for them, and it just didn't go their way, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, and that's definitely, I mean, that's why a lot of these guys also are going to come out and race. I saw Hugo there taking a look inside of John Borst here in 1 and 2. Oh, that was close between the two of them.
Very close.
And that's one of those ones where you don't know if netcode's going to kind of give you a break or not. So luckily no contact between the two of them there. The one thing I was going to say is for Chris here is the only thing he's got going for him is the fact that he does at least have clean air, so it's going to maybe help a little bit in that situation. But yeah, right now, like I said, he's hoping for that yellow. And again, I mean, right now these guys are as packed up as they can be at the start of this race. Here goes Schaus again. He's going to try it one more time here on Teed, and as they head into 3 and 4. And again, this is one of those turns you can take 3 and 4 way quicker than 1 and 2. Of course, with the different diameter turns. However, 1 and 2 having that banking to lean on a little bit, but obviously still nowhere near the pace that you can run 3 and 4.
Looks like some of these guys up in front are starting to kind of go a little more single file.
I just saw a little kiss the 72 onto that 15. Yeah, that's front wing end plate gone on the right side. So same thing for Schaus now. He is going to have no rotation on that car because you can see that front wing. It is gone on that right side here, Andrew.
You're talking about Schaus?
Yes, sir.
My screen, it looks like he has a front wing, actually. I don't know if it repaired itself back into place again.
Yeah, no, for me, I've got, I mean, he's got no rotation. He's already dropped a couple of spots right now. So
yes, now I see.
So yeah, so he's going to be in for her.
He's going to be in.
So which is worse here then, Andrew? Is it where the damage Stouffer has, or is it the wing damage right now that Schaus would have?
I think the wing damage is definitely going to hurt you a lot more. So you need that aero grip at the front in order to turn the car. And whereas Stouffer has a little bit of a different issue with the floor being damaged, I think that, at least in Schaus's case, hopefully he could just get that front wing repaired, save his fast repair, and be able to come back to it later on. But he is going to go to the back of the field, and Stouffer is probably even going to catch up to him at some point.
Yeah, so I wait for lap times to update. I can tell you Stouffer's already in the same turn as Craig Forsyth. And the way the contact happened, I mean, we saw it right there. He had a great run out of 2. Just unfortunately kind of mistimed a little bit the move to try to cut underneath. I believe it was maybe Hugo or Teed. I'm not sure which of one of the two. I think it was Hugo. And unfortunately, that's where the contact happened. But yeah, no, and you're exactly right for Schaus. The best thing he has going for him is that should just be a front wing change. It'll add about 5 seconds to the stop. But yeah, I mean, right now, though, if you're Stouffer, you look in your mirror, you see Craig, he's on a roll here. And then for Craig, too, this is one of those deals where he should be able to get by Stouffer, no problem. But again, Craig's been enjoying all this clean air, and now he's like, oh, man, I got to adjust my line to make sure I can get through, as it looks like he'll make pretty quick work of the 13.
It actually is kind of a sad situation for these guys that have had this misfortune early because, as I mentioned before, the field has started to kind of walk away from each other. We're in a single file. down to 10th place or so, which you see Jeff Hysong is working on the car ahead of him, Charles Teed. So there's not a lot of room for potential contact here unless two cars really a big battle here, and the only place you're really going to find it is down in this area going for this battle for 10th place, which is actually really starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think turn 1 and 2 is definitely, it seems to be, is going to be probably the passing area, which, I mean, makes sense because that's one where you see how brave you are on the brakes, and you can kind of try to set them up through 3 and 4, again, with the speed that you're able to carry. So I think that's exactly what we're seeing. You saw right there that Hysong got a good run through 3 and 4, tried to take a nose there in 1 and 2. Again, couldn't quite do it there. So right now, things kind of still holding steady as best I guess you can say. But also looking a little forward here. You got a nice little trio here. You got Ryan Kelly right in front of Frank Irwin Jr. Larry Yingling trying to put a little bit of pressure there on Frank as well. And then that's where then you see John leading this group behind him in the 86 car. So the other thing, Andrew, is fuel windows in the 38 or so lap range full rich. So, I mean, it feels like with the length of this track, it would be longer, but they're not even going to quite get 40 laps. I mean, at this point, tentatively, we're already past halfway on the fuel numbers, so pit stops will actually be looming pretty quickly. I mean, these guys are turning 24-second laps right now, so pit stops really probably not into the too distant future.
Well, if I was Chris Stover right now and we've gone on this green flag, I would just come into the pits now and change your tires, because you'll be faster when you come out with a fresh car and everything, faster than everyone around you. Yes, you're going to go down another lap or so, but you've already lost a lap as it is. There's no real need to stay out right now because you're just going to be down a lap anyway, because a caution comes out within the next 5-10 laps or so. Everybody's coming down pit lane. So you got to do something a little different. And I think that the thing to do there is just to come in, get that repaired, and get back on with the race and see what you can get going forward, because you'll be the lucky dog as well.
Yeah, and the other part too is actually now he's not the lucky dog, because Eric Schaus also now has already been put a lap down. And yeah, lap time wise, you are right though. He is a little quicker than Schaus, about half a second the last time by, but they're both over a second a lap slower than Craig right now in the 99 car. So talked about track position being very critical at a track like this early on. Crucially, Craig able to get his first pole position of the season, I believe, tonight. I'd have to go back and look at the stats on that one, but yeah, so really crucial one for Craig to get that pole position time, and so far he's been making the most of it. But man, this is the fight I've been watching though. Those guys are going tooth and nail. You saw right there, Hugo lost momentum out of 2, and then Jeff Hysong says, yeah, don't mind if I do. He's going to clear that spot. Wayne Campbell wants to try to follow along, and now it's everybody's trying to fight for that clean air through 3 and 4.
Yeah, they were all trying to work their way around him, and then Schaus is not too far up the road as well. So it'll be difficult for these guys to navigate the lapped cars without losing any time to the cars that they're chasing. But yeah, I'm very, very surprised that neither Schaus nor Stover has decided to call it, because I think if you're saying 38 laps, then the pit window is already open on the back end. Whereas if people are just going to do 38 3 times, that's going to bring them to about 116 or so. So around lap 20 is where your pit window is going to open. So Schaus has just made contact with the wall too. So add insult to injury there. Schaus now has floor damage.
Yeah, so that's actually a tough one too, because now you can't even
do contact. That was very close.
Yeah, so that was really close. And saying that's again, everybody's trying to react, and once more here, Jeff Hysong able to take advantage of the stack up there, and he's going to grab another spot now. This time Charles Teed able to jump around, and yeah, right now, and like you said, on the contact for Schaus there, that's a tough one. And again, here's the momentum again. Now Hugo's going to try to make a move back on Teed. So that one little bobble, Teed's going to fight back hard on the outside here, but that one little bobble almost cost Teed 2 spots there, as he's going to hang back onto that spot, but he had to really push hard there and through 3 and 4 to hang on to that spot.
I guess one strategy ploy that Stover and or Schaus are going to do is that if they pit along with everyone, they're just going to hope that they're the lucky dog. But the laps are ticking away here, and every lap that goes by is one less lap you have to fight going forward. So I guess it's kind of a risky move to come in on the strategy that I was mentioning before, as we see one car is pit. I believe it's Chris Jabot.
Yeah, Chris Jabot on pit road. Not sure if this is scheduled or maybe had some contact as well. I mean, it looks like a normal stop pace-wise and everything.
Looks like normal.
So I'm not sure if maybe it's in contacts that I'm just going to go ahead and get it fixed right away. But that's going to be the first, and maybe also kind of the road course approach, maybe running it backwards here. So this is where you get nervous though, because now it's like, hey, this thing needs to stay green. We'll see how far he drops back. I think it'll just be the 1 lap. No, actually, I'm sorry. He'll be down 2 laps now. So that's going to be the concern for him now, is he'll be also trapped in this situation. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. And then right now, Matt Wagner, though, let's say we've been talking about Craig and these other battles going on, but Matt's been slowly but surely creeping Craig into the mix here, which in my mind is actually really impressive, as we talked about that clean air, dirty air. So Matt's done a great job in his 6th car to even get to the gearbox of Craig.
Well, now we're getting very close to the pit stop if we're aiming at the lap 38 region here, because Matt can easily come in 1 lap before if he feels like he's in a window to make it. It's not going to be a fuel save race, so it might benefit Matt actually to come in now or within a lap or so, even if he feels like he's faster than Craig, which just watching him, he seems like he's very much so right on Craig's rear wing. Just come in, get those tires and that pit stop over with, and you can even 1 lap will help out here. So I'll be curious to see if Matt decides to make the dive to come in early, or if he decides to just stay out.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see. And unfortunately, they're now about to put Schaus 2 laps down again. And I think, no, he's actually going to continue to stay out too. I thought for sure this would be, okay, I'm 2 down, I might as well come in. But as you said right there, Matt was a little worried about washing up into Eric there, rolled out of it. That's going to give Craig, again, a little bit of breathing room. But I got to go back here, because these 3, it's been pretty much these 3 stuck together from the get-go, the 18, the 86, and the 50. And while I've been watching that, I'd say this has been a really good battle of the 3 of them, where John's been pretty much just kind of running his pace. I feel like running his lines, and these guys are trying to find a way around. But again, though, it's not easy to pass here. So, and again, they're a little momentum loss for the 18. T got closer, but not enough to make a move.
It's actually a very interesting fight, because I think Boris is actually holding both of those cars up, but he's not making any mistakes. He's methodically just taking 1 and 2 in particular very, very gently, and not making contact with the outside wall or coming very close. But the cars behind can't do anything, and it becomes sort of a draft lock situation once you realize that the car ahead of you is checking you up a little bit. You have to play a different sort of momentum game there to make sure that you don't get passed from the car behind. And as the tires wear, it gets more and more difficult to make those passes. So Jeff Hysong actually has just made the pass on John Boris there. So move Jeff into the top 10 now. But I have a feeling that these cars are getting ready for their pit stops very soon. They're starting to radio into their pit crew and say, hey, I need new tires, and I need them now.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And yeah, you're right. We're right about at that window. So, and like I said, once we get to that window, it'll be interesting to see, like you said, because again, there's that risk and reward of, okay, if I get caught in the pits during a yellow. But like you said, for Matt, though, pace-wise, there isn't a ton of drop-off. It's been about, they're running, actually, there's not a ton of drop-off, because Craig's best lap's at 24:59. Right now, last lap he ran at 24:79, so literally only 0.2 slower.
Craig's coming in.
All right, so here we go. He's going to be the first taker. And can he get it down in time? That's, again, this
wow,
is
that was very sketchy.
and that's one of the best doing this. Now he's also got to get down to the cone, and it looks like he's done that as well. So Craig the first to hit pit road. Usually Craig's Mr. Fuel Save, but when you start P1 on the track, you're going to burn the most fuel. Gary Laverne coming in along with him, and it looks like those will be the 2 that come in at lap 38, coming to 40. Here comes Matt, and we'll see what he can do. Entry, exit. Again, that's going to be the concern, is those slides through. And here comes Herrick as well. Like I said, this is where now we want to pretty much just be watching this pit road entry, because this is where mistakes could happen.
Yeah, we see Herrick's coming in as well, and Ryan Kelly is also making his pit stop. So we're starting the pit stop rotation now, and hopefully the green flag pit stops yields a really great result for seeing who has the best advantage during their pit in, pit out, and everything like that, and we don't get a caution here.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, and this is great too, because for all we know, I mean, there's going to be drivers that they put some time and say, okay, let's practice our pit stops because we need to make sure we don't mess up. And that's going to be coming into play, as well as right now Frank Irwin Jr. He's got the best fuel mileage of everybody. And then importantly for Craig, though, Craig wants and needs to get around him here, because that way he unlaps himself just in case. as he's going to do that. And here comes Larry Yingling along with Frank Irwin. And you can see these guys not wanting to take as big of a risk as those front runners on their pit entry. So that's going to bring those two in. John Borst, actually, he's going to take the lead over with his teammate Nick Cohan right behind him. So also, and you mentioned maybe the line behind those two. So again, maybe they're running a little lower fuel map, trying to stretch the mileage out on these cars. Just again, if someone makes a mistake getting in or out of pit road, they can trap a lot of cars a lap down. So right now you can see 86 going to continue in. 85, he is going to hop on pit road as we speak. And so yeah, so right now John's going to have a lot of drivers sweating right now, thinking just please don't have a yellow come out right now.
Pit lane is very busy, and this is one of those pit lanes that's very narrow. As you can see, it's pretty much 2 car widths wide. So as we go through the green cycle, it's very, very important that you're not coming out onto the pit lane ahead of someone that's just coming into their box as well. And that's very, very common that you see here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. And it looks like so far so good. Everyone seems to be happy.
Yeah.
Pit out. Not a lot of problems, and it's very great to see after quite a few weeks of having these caution periods happening during the green flag pit stops.
And especially at a track as difficult as this, you see John there. He's going to cut
Just
to the bottom.
I say that Nicholas Stockner is spun onto the track.
Oh, caution's out. Now the question is, does John have enough fuel? Can he roll back on track here? We'll see. Does he make the sharp right? Yep, there he goes. That's the right call for him there. He's got to take the 1X to do it, but that is the right decision for him because, like we said, right now with that, he has the top 7, I believe, cars, possibly top 6, I think, trapped, or sorry, from 7th on back, trapped 1 lap down. So he's going to catch the pace car here, and that's going to allow him to pretty much get a free pit stop. I don't suspect we'll see the other leaders pit, but everybody else from Ryan Kelly on back, they're going to have to wave around here in order to have this, to get back on the lead lap. But the problem for John right now is he's trying. I'm sure he's just probably. Let's take a look here.
I think he's on. I think John Borst is on the clutch right now, making sure he can make it into the pit lane. That's why he's.
I say he has to make sure he stays behind the pace car on the entry though, because otherwise that'll actually wind up getting him a pit entry penalty. So he's got to make sure he backs it down enough. And I don't know.
I think he's going to get himself a penalty there.
So the question now is, if that's passing the pace car and entry, is that going to be in along this line? Is that going to be a hold? So I'm a little nervous about that one for the 86 car. But let's go back and let's check for Nicholas Stockner, because I think that was a pit exit miscue, which I mentioned. That's probably one of the hardest pit roads to get out of. It's super slick here, Andrew. So I'll watch here and I'm guessing it'll be he throttles up and immediately, and he almost has it there. And honestly, actually, I think it did stay green. I think it's right there where probably the yellow got thrown. So
it was just as he started to move. I was watching it. It seemed as he got on the track, it was fine. But then as he came down, So I think that Gael, I really hate to say this as a commentator's curse because I really do think that
we were so close.
I was so close. I had just said, wow, we have gotten through the whole entire green flag cycle, and then that happened.
So another thing I'm very intrigued about here is Craig Forsyth. Actually, he did hit pit road. So only Craig, along with John Borst, are the only drivers to have hit pit road there. I don't think, does this do anything for fuel here? So I think because John went, what was it, about 40 something laps there. What lap did the caution come out here? So that caution came out at lap 40, I think it was 43. 43,
I don't think. I don't think that there's any sort of fuel save situation going on here. It could be. But
yeah, and that's why I'm really curious for Craig pitting, because I mean you were going to be leading at that point. Why give that up? You saw how fast you were. Matt wasn't able to do anything with you up until a pit stop cycle. So I'm a little curious about this one for Craig. I mean, and like you said, I don't think it's going to make a difference on the fuel mileage. I can tell you that Ryan Kelly, he was the wave around car, so he actually just got his lap back now. And also, we are coming back to green here, so Matt Wagner's got the lead, and then all the rest of the field, they're all trying to hustle around to catch up there. We had a ton of wave arounds there. So the running order is going to be completely shaken up here. I think right now, Hugo Glass, Chris Jabot are still 1 down, but Matt Wagner now going to be our leader on this restart. He's got Edson Santos, and right behind him, I think it's showing John Borst net 3rd, but Hugo Glass is in between them. So I guess no penalty, it looks like, for the 86 car from what I can tell. As we are, nope. I think they're delaying the green.
Yes, they're delaying the green. That there's a bit of a different kind of stacking up situation here. I think there's some cars that are at a place, and I was listening to a couple of the drivers' radios, and it seems like there were some people that had to pass the pace car but didn't, and there's a lot of confusion going on right now. So the pace car is coming back out again, going to collect the field, and the race control is going to sort this out, I think.
No, and I think that's the right decision there, is make sure you get it right. Yes, it might knock a couple laps off of everything, but I think that's the right call. So now the next question mark too is, did Matt need to stay behind the pace car, or does he need to catch the pace car? Which right now looks like he's working on catching the pace car. And then the other questions, of course, will be, do we get additional wave rounds? Like, in this situation, does that give Hugo back on the lead lap? Things like that. So, unfortunately, these kind of do throw a little bit of a wrench into things. So, we'll try to dig into it here just a little bit here under the yellow. And then we'll come right back after a quick word from our wonderful sponsor, 4D Racewear.
4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, so lights are off of the pace car. Andrew's he's reaching out, he's checking in with the powers that be, see if he can kind of nail down what we got going on. What I can tell you is, interestingly enough, is with the timing of this caution, is we do have a few drivers that have hit pit road. So I think they're going to try to see if maybe they can pull a field number out of this one now as well. I did see Hugo get waved by, so that should put Hugo back onto lead lap, if I'm not mistaken. And Andrew, what'd you find out?
Yeah, they're going green next time by. They were just resorting the field, and it seems like everything is okay now. There's a little uncertainty of what happened with penalties and everything, but we're going to go green, and we're going to keep this train going. But I can confirm that I just did some math as well, and I do not think that this is going to be a fuel safe situation. So we are going to be going full blast here, full rich, and we're going to see a really great race going forward.
I'm going to counter you. I think there's going to be some fuel savings. We had a lot of drivers hit pit road there from Eric Peterson on back. So I think there's going to be some drivers wanting to try to one-stop this thing to the end, as Matt Wagner is going to pick up the pace, and we are back under green starting lap number 52 of 135 as we get back underway here. And you see a nice clean start there through the field. And now this has been the first time they had to build speed up since the start, so they got to watch for those tires. The tires are going to be cold. They're not going to have the full grip as of yet. So these guys have to make sure they stay on top of that, as well as I saw a little bit of a bobble there further back. But so far, so good, it looks like.
I actually also learned I went to go check with Craig Forsyth and the team there. It looks like Forsyth had a speeding penalty, so that put him way back as well. I think he did that. He did that all by himself, but he's going to be able to come back forward. He was obviously the pole sitter here, so he knows what it takes to get around this track. So expect to see Craig making some moves, a little bit in anger. I'm pretty sure we've all been there where we feel like we had a little bit of a miscue in the pits, and it's very easy to get yourself just buckled down and ready to go.
No, that's a really good point. And so, yeah, you talk about the strategies on fuel. As soon as I say that, we had Matt Wagner ran the fastest lap of the race, but then Eric Schaus, he's gone ahead and he's done one more on that one. So Schaus and Stouffer, this is big for them. They got to try to figure out something here strategy-wise because both cars right now sit 2 laps down still. I think Chris Jabot may be the only car one down. Chris Jabot's only one down in the 87 car. So right now, let's say, unfortunately, between the two of them, they would not get the benefit of the lucky dog.
Oh, we have a wreck in turn 2.
Yeah, Ryan Kelly stuck up against the wall, and he's going to stop. Oh, we got a couple cars probably caught into the side of him. We'll have to catch those guys as well, but caution's back out. That should bring Chris back on the lead lap, pending not being involved, of course. And I don't think he was, and I think I just saw Jim Herrick have some issues as well. Yeah, Jim Herrick's around there as well. So a couple things just happened here. Let's start with the Ryan Kelly one.
It looks like he tried to go high in a car and just kind of ran out of track there, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And actually, I think it may have been him and Jim Herrick, actually, now that I'm looking at it. So let's back it up a little further. Get another look at this one here. And then, yeah, you're right. Kind of trying to run the top side. And, yeah, just a little bit of contact. Possibly netcode. Can't tell from that angle. But then, yeah, just pretty much gets stuck up against the wall. Oh, man, that was really close for Gary Laverne. Just sneaks on by there. And we'll stay focused on this number 33 car because, actually, unfortunately, we'll watch from the back here because at this point, you're still fully focused. The green flag's still out at this point. You don't know there's a caution yet because he hasn't stopped. And then right here, the 20, I think that's the 21, and then Charles Teed, possibly damage for the two of those guys. But then I'm going to go over to the 40 of Jim Herrick because this is the other one I'm trying to see what happened here. Because at this point, the caution should have come out. And, oh, he just gets on the rumble strips? Yeah, it just gets on the rumble strips there and unfortunately hits the wall there too. So an odd one there for him, unfortunately. So we'll jump back live because right now, again, strategy-wise, it looks like most everybody has stayed out, or maybe they're just now catching the pace car. We'll have to wait and see, but I can tell you Ryan Kelly is on pit road. So he's been able to get to pit road. He'll get his fast repair. Chris Jabot also on pit road after getting his wave around, which will then, I believe, leave just Eric Schaus, and it looks like Nicholas Stockner and Chris Stouffer. They'll be the 3 cars now, 2 down, but importantly, the only cars a lap down. So, and I can tell you that Stouffer went ahead and hit pit road, whereas Schaus and Stockner did not.
I'm going to be honest with you, Gael. I have no idea what's happening right now. There's cars that have come and gone and different situations and different strategies going. But I think we finally reached a point now where we will be in a fuel save situation. As we saw some cars go to lap 40, lap 41. We have about 80 laps left in this race. If cars were to pit right now, I think a fuel save is on the table. A relatively easy fuel save.
Well,
so
we've got a spy in the chat who's also on the track. So since we know he's listening to us, what's the fuel window here, Matt? You gonna try to one stop it, or are you pretty much forced your hand on a 2-stopper here? Well, we'll wait and see what he replies in the YouTube chat.
He'll reply, of course. We're going to hear
maybe.
all the thoughts that are Matt Wagner's on.
So he's typing furiously if he is before we go green, because we're one to go here. He's building that gap up.
Yeah, I think one person we're going to watch is Craig Forsyth, like we watch week after week, the guy that can make fuel and make a situation out of anything. And, of course, we probably saw that he was trying to make up some spots during that last yellow flag situation. But if he can find a way to really save fuel now, it's going to be a stretch for someone like Forsyth or any of those cars that he was around. But it's possible that something could be done here as we go back green.
Yep, Matt is down and away as we get back going here. And say, looking out the back, it looks like a pretty solid start through the field. You see right away there, Jeff Heisong trying to make a move on Bill Barella as they hit turn number 1. He's going to get underneath again. So now these tires, I guess you could say, are kind of scuffed a little bit. They got a couple laps on them, but they're still going to need to build up some temperature. Look at this battle right here. You've got Nick Cohen, Frank Irwin Jr. Frank's going to hang on to it for the moment. And then I saw the 40 car just getting back up to speed right there, Jim Herrick. So unfortunately, yeah, just not what Jim was hoping for, as he had a lot of pace earlier on. So right now, yeah, the fuel's going to be, I'm going to be very intrigued. If we stay green, the strategies are going to be very intriguing for me on this one. Because, like I said, you got Matt Wagner at 39, Edson Santos at 40. John Borst was on 45. Wow. So, yeah, we'll have to see.
Eric Schaus is trying to get his lap back, and he went right across the bow of Edson Santos there. That was very, very close to another incident. Schaus is now sitting the second car in line. He kind of muscled his way by there to make sure he got by Edson, but yeah, that was a very, very close one. And right behind Edson, you see that Borst and Laverne are really going for a nice battle here. And again, Borst was a benefactor of that, of staying out on that first caution flag, and we see that he's in a podium position right now.
Yeah, and again, I mean, if he does what he did last time, I think he can one-stop this, and that might be, we'll see, does he fight Gary too hard here? I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to say, if you got the pace, Gary, go on by, but he's not going to roll over for him by any means, so he's going to hang on to that third spot for the moment. So you do wonder, maybe he's running a different fuel map or something like that, or maybe he doesn't quite have the top end, but it's just netting him a ton of laps on the fuel side of things. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, because, yeah, I think right now John Borst pitted at 45, and we saw how far he went the first run. And then I'm looking at the other guys. The next closest is Craig Forsyth, who pitted at 50. So we'll have to watch and see, because right now those are the two that have pitted the most recently that are the furthest up. So after that, Jeff Heisong's lap 50, Charles Teed lap 50. And then you got drivers like Peterson, Kelly, Jabot, were 56, 57, Hugo Galaz, Joseph Morales. All of those guys, they did top off on that last yellow. So I think for sure those guys can one-stop. So I think for Matt, I really think basically Matt, Edson, Gary, I think at this situation, those 3 or 4 have to two-stop it. Also, do need to mention, you see right here, Frank Irwin has gotten around John Borst as well. So yeah, I think John right now, I think he's running the field numbers. He's going to have his teammate going for the attack now as well, Nick Cohan. And so yeah, so I think John's looking long run here. He's going to try to do what he did that last time around. And yeah, I think he's actually just he's like, you guys just go on by. I'm not wanting to fight this hard yet.
Well, you were mentioning that he was in that big battle with Gary Laverne about 4 or 5 laps ago, and he wasn't rolling over for Gary. Had really had to force his way in through turn 3 and 4 there, and eventually when he got by, I think that kind of set Borst into a situation where he lost his momentum, kind of what I was mentioning early on in this race, where you lose the momentum. It takes you a lot of time to get it back again, because cars are just flying by you. Now you're like, okay, what lane do I choose? Where do I go? High, low? What do I want to do to try and get the position? And I don't think that I guess that was Irwin that I think was the next car to go by him there. I don't think that he was really ready for him, and he had to kind of lift out of the way, kind of out of line. So yeah, it may set Borst into a situation where he wants to do a fuel save right now, and perhaps just say, okay, well, now I've lost my momentum anyway. Now I'm just going to sit back here and let everyone go by me. But I do think that his fuel number is going to be a little harder to hit rather than those guys that came in on the last caution, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Craig Forsyth, like I said, right now he's really in the best spot, track position and fuel combination. Pitting on lap 50, running in the 7th positions. We just crossed the halfway point here. And then after him is John Borst. Again, it's a 5-lap difference, but again, that was kind of with the extended caution. So really fuel-wise, probably minimal burn. So I think those two are very similar. And then you go to Charles Teed, Jeff Heisong. Those guys also pitting on lap 50. So I think those, if we stay green, those are my drivers to watch. I think they might have something on the fuel side of things. But I do think pretty much 1st through 6th, I think if we go green, I see it being a 2-stop strategy for all those guys. And then looking for that battle you mentioned with Schaus making those big moves. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to close on Matt. Edson's going to try to get back by here because Matt's run away. He's built about over a 2-second lead now on Edson, and I'm sure Edson's thinking, man, if I can get the clean air, I can probably chase that 6 car back down, as he's going to send it into 3. And it looks like, I think Eric said, okay, I did try what I could, didn't work out, so I'm just going to try to sit here and ride. As right now, Eric is the first car 2 laps down as things run.
Well, I also wonder if Schaus realized that he did Edson a little dirty trying to get back by him, so he didn't want any problems or any situation where he gets put high or into the wall or something like that. So that was a very easy pass for Edson. Edson's now dispatched, and let's see what Edson can do to get back up front. And we know if anybody can do a long run stint on old tires, Edson Santos is your guy that you want to look for.
Yeah, but I'm gonna wait to see. That's what I want to see next, is what the lap times look like. Basically, clean air to clean air lap for the 6 and the 20. So that's what I'm gonna be keeping an eye on next time around. Still some really great battles here. Like I said, Nick Cohan, Larry Yingling, Craig Forsyth, all right together. These guys, again, they can't get away from each other. There you've got John Borst, Wayne Campbell, Charles T, Jeff Heisong, all right on top of each other here as well. So it's been a really, really kind of tight, packed fight in some of these cars. And I can tell you last time by, it was 0.02 of a second between Matt and Edson. Matt ran a 67, Edson ran a 69. So Matt still has really, really good pace in that 6 car.
Checking out on Craig Forsyth, it looks like I don't think he's doing any fuel save at all. It looked like he was really trying to make up some spots here. So I think that he's trying to make up the spots where he can. So he's having a little bit of difficulty getting up to the cars up ahead. And I have to say that Gateway is definitely one of those tracks where it's very, very difficult to make up any spots or anything like that. But I could be seeing something a little different to what's actually going on, and maybe Craig is trying to do some sort of fuel save, but he did not pit on that last caution, so he has about, I think, like 83 or 84 laps to go on 2 tanks, which is a little bit difficult to do here from what we saw in the first stint.
Yeah, you saw right there, Wayne Campbell able to get around the 86. Now Teed's going to try to follow along, and again, now it's just who's going to get the cleaner air out of the 2 of them, and Teed will complete the pass, and I think you can see that it looks like Jeff Heisong and that Bluey machine is going to continue that move as well and grab that spot here as well. So like I said, as soon as the momentum's lost, it just unfortunately does not go the right way. So he's going to slot back into 11th here. It's actually right where he qualified. But yeah, so kind of been an up and down day for John. But yeah, again, though, the strategy call, he ran furthest of everybody on fuel, and he was able to give himself some great track position. But I think just the timing of these yellows, this kind of forced his hand again. I think maybe, yeah, where it's like, I didn't want to give up the track position to pit again, but I think I can run the number. So he's kind of between that rock and a hard place potentially in that number 86 car. So I'm going to go back up front here, because look at this one here. You got Frank Irwin Jr. here. You got Nick Cohen really close to each other off of 3 and 4. Larry Yingling, he's probably got the best view of both of them. Let's hop on board here. We'll jump on that roll bar and watch them through 1 and 2.
Just checking on a possible wall tap with Eric Peterson down in P13. I think he got away with it, but he definitely rode against that wall on the exit of turn 2, and he's in a big battle right now for that top 10 position with Boris Burrell. Heisong is definitely kind of pulled away a little bit, but Boris continues to hold up with these guys behind him.
You see Charles Teed just able to get around Wayne Campbell there, so move Teed now up into 8th. And again, Teed and Forsyth now, those are now the top 2 drivers pitting on lap number 50. So again, can these guys one-stop it? If there's a driver that does not like to fuel save, it's Charles Teed. He's one that if he can map 1 it, he's going to map 1 it. He's not one to bump those fuel maps down. So I'll be very intrigued to see how far that number 50 car can go in this run as well. As up, you see Craig Forsyth looks like he's actually just been able to get around Larry Yingling, who I think actually Larry had just gone around Frank Irwin, but I think it looks like Frank's got back by. So Craig's going to now try to see if he can set up that 44 car here. You see a great run out of 3. See if he's going to take a look in 1. He's definitely going to peak here. We'll see what he can do. I think the momentum is going to win out here, and that's the thing with these cars is you can really keep them wound up, it looks like, in that top side of 1 and 2 here.
I think one of the cars you were mentioning that might be doing the fuel save is Wayne Campbell, and if you want to go on board with him, you can see if he's doing any sort of lifting at the end of the straightaways. Jeff Hysong is alongside of him on the front straightaway right now. He's been able to stay in Charles Teed's draft a little bit, but I'm not really sure if Campbell is full rich on the fuel right now, or if he's just in a bunch of dirty air and can't figure it out, but I think he might be doing some sort of fuel save.
Yeah, Wayne, I don't know. I think Wayne's in the same situation as Matt Wagner, Edson Santos and company. He pitted at lap 41, so I see him in the same spot as Larry Yingling, Frank Irwin Jr., and then Cohan, Laverne, Santos, Wagner. So I think, unfortunately for Wayne, I think even with what he's doing, I don't think he's going to be able to pull off that second stop. The thing is, though, we'll be able to find out in about 10 laps or so. The answer for Matt Wagner is no. He's already in here. He's at 52 to go, so that's why he was pretty much just running qualifying laps here. So Matt's gonna come in here. He's gonna get tires and fuel, and then he's gonna still be roughly probably about 10 laps short though on fuel here, Andrew. So we'll see at some point he's gonna start to bring these other guys in. So that'll be the next question: is who we see kind of react to him afterwards. And I think I just saw. Yep, here comes Gary Laverne. He's gonna be the first of those coming along with him. And so, yeah, so pit window for those that did not pit or top off, that window is just began to open for these guys.
Well, I think we have to check in to see if Matt Wagner was furiously typing on the YouTube chat. Did you ever check to see if he told us what his strategy is?
He did say two. So he did say he was going to be a two-stopper, and he had no way to pull off the one-stopper, which, again, just based on the laps, it was kind of what I was expecting to see as well. So now the big potential story right now is, at the moment, Edson's still ahead of Eric Schaus. So Eric would desperately love to get around that number 20 car in his 72 machine, because I think right now with Matt pitting from the lead, I think he's just gone down one lap. So at the moment, actually, the beneficiary would probably go back to Matt and not actually, it'd be Wagner then Laverne. So really what Eric needs here is just basically to be able to try to get around him. Frank Irwin Jr. need to mention he is now on pit road in that 44 car. But yeah, Edson actually going way longer than Matt here. So I'm wondering if this is a tires strategy, but as I said, here comes Edson now as he's going to hit pit road coming to 47 to go. And it looks like he is going to bring, I thought I saw someone else coming in. Was that Larry Yingling? No, it was not.
Wayne Campbell missed the pit entry turn 3, gets through the grass, but gets back on there again. That was almost as similar to the Nicholas Stockner caution, but Wayne Campbell has made his pit stop, lost a little bit of time there, but I guess his fuel save situation is he did wind up going 47 laps plus all the caution we had, so that's actually pretty good to see. I think if you can make it to 93, 94, it's possible, but you really have to slow down a lot.
Yeah, so here's Nick Cohan. He's in. Larry Yingling is in. So now we get to those guys that pitted on lap 50 and lap 56.
John Borst is off the track in the back straightaway.
Looks like heavy damage.
No caution.
Yeah,
so
he'll stay green. So
Borst is going to come in.
Yeah, he's got no choice at this point. Let's see. I'm going to go back, try to find what happened to John here. So he was around. He's already around at that point. Let's go further back. Oh, really bad net code. I'll go back one more time here, but Andrew, so you can see it as they come out of 2. I mean, there's plenty of space, but I mean, there's half a car width between him, and net code sends the 86 around. So that's a tough break. I think he had a good fuel strategy, but
I think that might have just been getting loose, Kyle. I don't even know if there was any contact there. It looks like the back end starts to spin around. It's very close. It's tough to tell if it's a netcode hit or just getting a little loose.
Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. As like I said, I think he was one of those few that were going to try to pull that fuel strategy off. So we do stay under green. And so what I can tell you right now is Craig is now the leader by about 1.5 seconds over Teed. And Teed's got a pretty wide margin right now over Hugo Galaz right now, because Peterson's about 5 seconds, I should say, off of Teed, and then Hugo Galaz at 57, Chris Jabot 56, and then Joseph Morales 56 as well. Jeff Hysong, he's on pit road. That's 43 to go. I don't think that's a window to make it here. So right now, and actually Teed's on pit road too. I don't think these guys have the numbers here. I think we'll see what Craig can do here. If he can go another lap or two, I feel a little bit better about that. Is he coming in? Here he comes. This is coming to 41 to go. I think it's doable. It's going to still need some fuel save. So I think Peterson, Galaz, Jabot, and Morales, they might be able to pretty much map one this to the end here. So I think these guys might be in the catbird seat fuel-wise here.
Well, let's also keep in mind that it's not just a matter of the fuel map you're in, but your pack. So if you're pitting with 41 to go, you need to make sure you're kind of around a bunch of cars that you're able to lift a lot earlier, take a preferred line through the corners, especially in 1 and 2, where you can lift a little bit.
I think Charles Teed may have had a pit penalty because I'm not showing him on track anymore. I saw a lengthy pit stop as here's Craig. He's out of pit road right now. And then also right now, looking at the timing and scoring, I believe, Matt Wagner right now, he's the tail end of the lead lap, pretty much from 6th on back right now, are trapped 1 lap down. So you mentioned for Craig, he is got out in traffic and a lot of traffic. You see Eric Schaus try to get around him. He's got Nick Cohan right in front of him, and they've got about a 5-lap difference on tires for the fuel strategy as well here.
I do think that Peterson, Galaz, and Jabot have really put themselves in a great spot.
No, I mean, at this point, they can make it. I mean, we said 38 laps
absolutely.
full rich. So, I mean, and I think Hugo's pitting here at 38 to go. So I think this is kind of the pit backwards, if you will, situation. But, yeah, I mean, Peterson's got about 6 3/4 seconds over Chris Jabot. You can see Peterson, he's going to hit pit road now. So that's going to now wait for the 87 car. Does he hit pit road or not? And then, now it's just going to be see where these guys cycle out for those that pitted early, and then who can make it, who can't, pending cautions or not. And it looks like Chris Jabot also in here. So that's going to complete the cycle, I believe. Actually, no, I lied. Joseph Morales. Oh, well, as I said, here comes Joseph as well. So this will officially complete the pit stop. There's one driver that's just doing everything he can. He's saving, hoping for a yellow. That's Chris Stouffer, because right now Chris is actually just 1 lap down. The first car 1 lap down. He is pleading for a yellow because this would actually get him right back in the race.
Now we have to start watching lap times of some of these fuel savers here, because if we see a fuel save, especially if you're not around any other cars, you're going to want to be above a 25-second lap. And it may seem like you're going very slow, but if you lose about 3/10 a lap, you might be able to just get close to being 1 lap down. But if you're able to stay out and not have to pit again, then you're going to wind up getting all that time back when the leaders go into the pits for their splash. I imagine that if anyone's coming in to the pits around lap 127 to 132 or so for a splash, it'll just be a splash, no tires, which will save a little bit of time, but it'll be a very, very sketchy pit out. So I'm sure all these guys that did that long stint before really just want to make sure that there's no cautions at the end of the race, because they may get a few positions at the end, but will they be able to hold on to it if anybody comes in and takes tires?
Yeah, and that's a really good point too. And so I'm looking at lap times, and there's one driver that has dropped into the 25-second bracket, and that's Larry Yingling, and he's kind of off on his own. So this could be the map 5 thing you're talking about, where maybe he's running a big fuel map number. Everybody else is in the upper 24-second bracket. Craig Forsyth, he's still trying to, I believe, work over Nick Cohen. I don't think there's any fuel save going on right now. Jeff Heisong, he's having a great fight here as well with Frank Irwin Jr. But again, on the fuel side of things, right now Craig pitted at 94, Heisong 92. And then the problem is for Peterson and Galaz is they're back in 10th and 11th. And I'm looking to the gap. For Peterson, he's at 15 off the lead. Craig's about 7 off the lead. So he's got a number of seconds between himself and that 99 car. So, but again, though, it still could net a podium if we do stay green like we talked about. So a lot of strategies going on right now.
An update on that first car 1 lap down, that would be Joseph Morales. So unfortunately for Stouffer, it doesn't look like he'll be in the position to get his lap back should a yellow come out right now. So that just happens to be because everybody's taking their pit stop, and that always kind of changes a little bit.
I saw one car very slow off of turn number 2. I didn't catch who it was, though, but I saw a car have to react abruptly to him. But it looks like we're okay. But yeah, it's like caught a glimpse of it. Couldn't catch who it was, but that was a moment there. But man, we've got a fight though right here. It looks like Peterson has gotten around Campbell. Right now, Hugo Gloss just got by Larry Yingling, and yeah, I think Larry's saying, I just want to I don't want to have to pit again. I'm just going to try to save here. I think that's exactly what he's doing. He's just trying to save in that number 67 car. And yeah, so again, based on my numbers, I'm going to say Craig Forsyth's the first of those that can make it. I'm going to say Peterson's on the edge if he can make it or not. And then Peterson, then Hugo, then Chris. I think those guys can make it to the end, but I think Wagner, Santos, Laverne, and Cohen, I don't think they have the field numbers to get to the end here.
Well, then that means that when they come in, watch to see if they just do a splash or if they decide to take tires in case there's a quick jaunt to the end there. That's going to be the talks among the pit crew. Do we take the extra couple of seconds for the tires, or do we decide that we want to just go in and out as fast as we can and not lose so much time?
Here's a big moment here. Nick tried to get by Gary Laverne, and Craig. I thought Craig was going to try to go. He rolled right out of it. And is that a telltale right there where Craig says, I can't even go full send yet. I need to keep saving here. And I also do need to preemptively, just in case, a little bit of thunder in my area, Andrew. So if things disappear, hopefully they won't, knock on wood. But if they do, unfortunately, potential power hiccups from storms. But let's hope we make it to the end here.
I was unaware that you get storms where you are. But
usually in the summers when we get some, it's like just hot, and then but usually in summer times when we get most of our weather. But yeah, this is a great fight though here with Gary, Nick, and Craig. And yeah, but you're spot on though, because yeah, if you're pitting with, let's say, less than 10 to go, you may not want to take fuels. I saw another car look like that was off pace down the back there.
I think Jim Herrick had a moment. I'm not really sure I don't think he hit anything. He might have just been pulling over, let some people go or something like that.
That might be what it is, yeah.
All right.
I think it may have been Herrick I saw earlier too, and I think you're right. I think he might just be like, you know what, just go on by, guys. And I just saw the speed difference. So we'll jump back up here though, because that battle with Haisong and Irwin Jr. continues on. These guys still going after it here. That Blue Machine not able to get around Irwin yet. Can 3 and 4 the inside line? Can it do it? Nope, not yet. As Teed pops in, and it was what I was afraid of, unfortunately, Andrew. Someday Teed will stop speeding in the pits, but he was really happy with the setup tonight. So yeah, that's a bummer, Teed. We were definitely watching you, and if you're still here, I do know the pit strategy. Obviously, you're on a similar strategy that Craig was, that Haisong was on. Could you have made it to the end on your scheduled pit stop there? That's one thing that we're kind of trying to keep an eye on, is who can or cannot make it to the end here.
I'm watching Chris Jabot, and he's in a quote-unquote battle with Matt Wagner right now. I think he's getting close to being one lap down.
Yep.
But Chris Jabot is one of those cars that pit very late, and I think he can make it on fuel. So yes. I think what I was mentioning before is similar to what I'm saying. He probably is fine on fuel, but he wants to make sure that he tamps his pace down a little bit to see if he can just get a little bit late, a little bit at the end of the run here, where he can run some full rich laps when he knows Matt Wagner will pit. Larry Yingling is behind these guys as well, and he's cut his pace way down. So I think at this point, if it were to come down to a fuel save, I think Chris Jabot has the advantage over Larry Yingling, but we have to see if these guys actually can make it or not, as we get to about what are we on, 22 to go?
22 to go, yep. And that's exactly, and I think for Chris, I mean, he needs to try to fight Matt Wagner, because he wants to try to make sure if he could stay on the tail on the lead lap, because if something happens, he would actually probably be able to jump the 6th car during pit stop cycle if he can make it on fuel. Just depends on what he felt like on the tire side of things. So also a really good battle here. Wayne Campbell, looking at your Peterson's lane too. Wayne Campbell, Hugo Galaz, they're having a great fight just inside the top 10 themselves. And then again, we mentioned that fight with Laverne and Cohan and Forsyth still all right together. But yeah, from what I'm seeing though, from Craig's kind of positioning, he had an option to make a big move on Nick, opted not to. So I think he feels pretty confident that those guys cannot make it. And I think even if a yellow, I think Craig says, I'm not pitting, I'm staying out here. So I think that might be what we're seeing out of that number 99 cars. Here's that battle out of 2. Oh, a little bit of contact for Wayne Campbell there off the wall. See, looks like I think he maybe got away with it here. And I think I think that may have actually been Hugo saying, hey, I think maybe I ran you off the track. I'm going to let you back on by.
That's exactly
here.
what happened. I heard that radio transmission, and Hugo realized made it bad there and said, you know what, just take it back. I did forget Eric Peterson, though, Gael. I'm afraid. He's another one that...
Gaggle.
Wow, I just saw that. I mean, Larry Yingling needs to pick the pace up a little bit. He needs to be about a second faster per lap because he's trying to ride the outside line to let everyone by, but at the same time, he's being a little unpredictable, especially when groups of cars come up to him. But so far, no issue as of yet. I'm checking the car now. I don't see damage on his car and anything that's very concerning. So I think he's just trying to fuel save, but he's a little over fuel saving right now. And unfortunately, other cars that are fuel saving a little better than him are going to finish ahead. But Eric Peterson is one that we got to watch out for because he was the latest pitter of them all. He's tamped his pace down as well.
Which is surprising me. I thought for sure Peterson would be good to go. And it looks like Craig is starting to maybe realize that from somebody because it looks like he's starting to turn the wick up a little bit or trying to. But again, he's going to be put up with a good fight with Gary Laverne. And then here's that draft block you talked about. Gary's going to steal the draft of those two in front of him. And he's going to be able to stay in front of that 99 car. So, and I'm looking in the intervals and he's still got a good margin. And again, to me, it's only a 2-lap difference between Haisong and Forsyth. I have noticed Haisong, I think he's also dropped his pace back a little bit. So I'm thinking right now, my bad assumptions, I'm going to say the 99, the 18, and the 36 are going to be the top 3 that can make it to the end on fuel.
I'm with you. I agree 100%. And we're getting down to about 15 to go next time by. Or 15 to go right now. I think it's a stretch for Craig, but we've seen him pull a rabbit out of a hat before. I'm focused more on Eric Peterson. He's tamped his pace down a little bit, but him and Chris Chabot are setting themselves up nicely for a potential podium here.
Oh, I think I see 86. Yep, he's on pit road. Again, he had that unfortunate incident. Because, again, I think he was also in that fuel situation with some of those guys that maybe would have been able to pull that fuel strategy off. So, unfortunately, so it looks like he's in for his final stop of the night. So, was looking really promising, especially after that really smart fuel run that first round. Just unfortunately not quite panning out. But right now, I mean, I'm looking. We've got some gaggles of cars. We got this pack right here. I jump over to where the 87 car is on the map. Chris Chabot, he is in a pretty big pocket here. And then Chris Stouffer, I mean, look at this train here, too. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. But here we go. Matt Wagner, he is on pit road. 12 to go here. So that is going to start things off. Herrick is in as well. So now the question mark is going to be how far can Edson go? How far can Cohan go? Laverne, is this going to be possibly the race here?
I think Gary's coming in this lap, if I'm not mistaken. Stouffer just made a big dive through turn 2 in that group you were talking about with Haisong, Irwin, and Peterson that stacked them all up kind of a little bit. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, Kyle. I really don't. Yingling is slow on the track still. Cars fly by him down the front straightaway.
Yeah, Laverne just pitted as well. Wayne Campbell's also pitted. So so far it is those guys. So right now the ones that have not pitted yet are Edson that we just talked about in the 20, Nick Cohan. Those are the two that pitted in the 88, 89 range, which was close to Matt as we're 10 to go here. But again, though, too, you're going to run this out as long as you can because if there's a yellow, could it be enough fuel to allow you to make it to the end even? So there's that risk and reward because, again, there are no green-white checkers here. So if you're maybe, let's say, 3 laps short, if we get a caution, there's no restart, you can throw that thing to map 8, probably make it. So this is also where some of that gambling could wind up coming into play here. So Craig right now, he is about half a second off of Nick right there, second and third. Peterson's catching up to Haisong. Is Haisong going full fuel save like we talked about earlier? This could be, again, this might be a podium battle for these two. Frank Warren Jr., he just pitted and is back out. Chris Chabot, Bill Burrell, looks like Chris has gotten around Bill, but again, 10-lap difference on fuel. So, yeah, I mean, we're single digits now, but right now, Edson hasn't blinked. Nick Cohan hasn't blinked yet, so it's really anybody's guess right here. Peterson's trying to get Haisong here.
I was watching the Chris Chabot, Matt Wagner situation that we were watching from a few laps ago. Looks like Matt is starting to catch him a little bit.
Oh, here's Edson.
Edson's coming in. Chris Chabot, he is going to be on that fuel save, but Wagner isn't that far behind, maybe about a half a straightaway or so. So we're coming down to about 6 to go here, and we're going to see which one of these fuel-saving drivers is in the best seat.
So right now, Craig has the lead here, 6 to go, coming to 5 to go. Matt Wagner's going to try to unlap himself. You saw in the foreground there, that's the 21 Bill Burrell hitting pit road. So this is critical for Matt. He just unlapped himself, so if something were to happen, he still has some time. But again, though, we're down to 5 to go, so there would be only a short restart. And for Craig, though, right now, this is a balance where you want to save as much fuel as you can just to make sure you get to the end, because he's got 10 seconds over Peterson, so he is in a really good spot fuel-wise, or I should say track position-wise. Fuel's going to be the question. But then we've got a really good battle here, second, third, and fourth. You got Peterson, who's about half a second ahead of Haisong, who's about half a second ahead of Hugo Galaz. Right now, that's second, third, and fourth, all covered by about 1 second. And then, yeah, you mentioned the Chris Chabot, Matt Wagner battle. Matt's only about a second back. You can see him right there in the frame. Does Matt have enough time to grab a top 5, or is Chris going to be able to hold on to that spot? Right now, the 87 car is plus 16 from his starting position. So, yeah, so really good positions for these guys as we're down to 3 to go. At this point, the race would be official here, Andrew. So, Craig wouldn't be the most upset with the caution, but I want this thing to run out. I want to see how tight it is for Craig. But, again, he's got 10 seconds to play with. If he's not nervous about it, I feel pretty good about it. As here we go. Here's the battle, though, for that third spot. Hugo and Jeff are going after it.
Well, this is always what's very exciting for those that are watching. What do these guys have in the tank? Do we see it squeezed out a little too much, or is it very, very comfortable? And we won't really know until the last lap of the race. And it's coming down very fast here, Guile. We just have a couple of corners left, really, in this race.
Yeah, look at Hugo is able to squeeze the outside of Jeff Haisong. Looks like he will clear him. So put Hugo to the third spot as Craig takes the white flag. We have 1 to go here at Gateway over Eric Peterson by about 10 seconds. Hugo Galaz, Jeff Haisong. This is them taking the white flag here for that third position. And I think it may have been one of those things where Jeff wanted to fight but just did not have the fuel. A little further back, Nick Cohan is going, but we got to jump to the front because out of 4, here you go. Craig Forsyth going to get win number 1 of the season here at Gateway. Wins from pole position. Anything but easy, obviously, with all the things that were going on. Speeding penalty overcome. Eric Peterson's going to bring home a very, very solid second place. Hugo Galaz bringing home in third. And Jeff Haisong, he's out of field, just like you said. Can he hang on to that fourth spot? Where's Matt Wagner? He will grab it because there's Matt right there. And Matt did get around Chris Chabot. Chris going to bring it home in 6th. And then Joseph Morales actually, Joseph I think was the lap down. So he's going to grab 7th. Nick Cohan 8th, Edson Santos 9th, and Gary Laverne I'm showing with a top 10. But let's see if Craig's going to put salt in the wounds here. Think he's got fuel for burnout. Of course he does.
Yeah, I went back to watch what happened with Jeff there. Jeff was really trying to just. It's almost like he battled the car and everything. But yeah, no, it was very, very close on fuel as we saw with Jeff. But I'm not really sure if Craig just had a reserve fuel tank or something there, because it seemed like he had a lot of different tactics there to get a 10-second win on a fuel save race. That's pretty crazy. We did miss it, but there was a 4-wide finish between the two Nicholases, Joseph Morales and Edson. That was pretty insane too.
Well, we'll definitely grab that. We'll go back and take a look at that finish. But yeah, like you said, though, huge win for Craig tonight. 9.5 seconds over Peterson, 11 seconds over Hugo Galaz. Jeff Haisong just able to coast for that 4th place over Matt Wagner for 5th. And then Chris Chabot, last car in the lead lap in that 6th position. Joseph Morales, again, a quiet but great night tonight. He grabbed 7th position. We saw Nick Cohen, Edson Santos. They had a really good fight. They had great track position, just not the fuel numbers tonight to do what Craig did. 8th and 9th, Gary Laverne rounding out our top 10. And then you got Frank Irwin Jr. there, Wayne Campbell, Larry Yingling, Chris Stouffer, and Bill Burrell there are top 15. And do need to mention for Larry, he does wind up the last car one lap down for the fuel save, which I think actually probably did net him some spots like we were talking about. So I think as terrifying as that fuel saving probably was for Larry, I think probably actually did pan out. And then you got Eric Schaus there, 16, just never got to recover from his early incident. Ryan Kelly there, 17th. Nicholas Stockner in 18th. And then same situation, unfortunately. I do need to actually mention Christopher as well, didn't able to recover as well, but did still somehow wind up with 14th spot. So, I mean, make the best of a bad race. That's not too terrible. And then John Borst obviously had the early retirement from the damage. I think he called it towards the end there. Jim Herrick and Charles Teed, as Teed chimed in there, needs to stop speeding in the pits because I think Teed would have been right up there with those top three, unfortunately.
Yeah, I love these races, Kyle, that you just have no idea how it's going to turn out. We could speculate on what people are saying for fuel numbers. Who knows if people are giving us the actual correct fuel numbers or not? But a situation where we're up here guessing, it makes it that much more exciting for us and for the viewers.
All right, so now we're going to go to that battle you're talking about. I believe it says with Nicholas. Oh, yeah, here they go as they come through 3 and 4. So this is one of the battles that you were talking about here, Andrew. Yeah, there you go. These guys are all going and, oh, man, yeah, just about 4 wide there at the line for positions. And I think that was actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's Joseph right there holding off Nick Cohan. Edson was right there in that battle as well. So, I mean, those are positions, and Joseph fought hard, and he's able to hang on to that spot for that position. So well done to Joseph, like we said, for that 7th spot.
And it's also one of those things that you have no idea if the cars ahead of you are trying to save that extra little bit of fuel or not. So why not just try and split the middle there as Cohan did?
So, Andrew, that means we get to chat with some fellas. And so we're going to kick it off with our 3rd place finisher here. And that is going to be the number 57 of Hugo Galaz. Started in the 12th position, gained 9 spots, brings it home in 3rd. Hugo, it looked like obviously the fuel was probably the big question for tonight. At the end, there's who pitted at the right time to make it the one stop to the end. And I think you were one of those ones that pitted, I think it was at lap 55, and that appeared to be the magic number to make that one stop to the end at 135. But it wasn't easy, obviously, and then you had to fight Jeff Hysong at the end to get that 3rd spot. I mean, take us through the night and the fight to get the podium.
Hey, Gail. Hey, Andrew. I can't believe this result. Yeah, you say I in the lap 55, 56. I don't know exactly. I make a pit stop and I say, I can with this strategy not stop on the final of the race. Well, P3, the strategy works. I'm really happy. It's a surprise for me, this result.
Yeah, Hugo, I saw you had that contact early in the race with Eric Schaus. Did you feel that perhaps your race might have gone a little bit differently if something else had come about with the car afterwards, or was it just about playing the yellows correctly and seeing if you can maximize the strategy there?
Yeah, that was strange because Eric hit me in my rear, but the car had a little push after that. But I used the fast repair in the next speed stop, and the car works again. But I had some problems with the lap cars, but I lost time in that moment. But in general, the race was smart, not fast for me, but smart.
I mean, I felt like, I mean, pace wise, I mean, I think you were pretty quick as well with a lot of the other ones. One thing Andrew and I had noticed was there was one point in the race towards the end where Andrew, I don't remember if you knew who it was he was fighting with, but you had a little bit of contact, I think, coming out of two, and then you actually kind of you let back off and let him go back by to. Was that just one of those kind of like, hey, didn't mean to get into you, and I want to make like race you clean, or I mean, because I say that's very very rare to see. I feel like in a lot of racing.
I think it was Wayne Campbell, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong.
So, in general, for me, the race was clean. Some moments, uh, all drivers had problems in the race, but it's the moment. It's relative. Uh, Sometimes you hit with other car or something like that, but you know. The league is hard. Really good drivers. Uh, Things happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great run tonight, Hugo. Like I said, strategy was perfect, and you did everything right there at the end to be able to get around Jeff as well to get the podium tonight. Definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shout outs for that podium tonight.
Yeah. Well, first, sorry, I apologize all the people for my English. And I'm really happy with the results. Greetings from my team, from my family. Thanks, guys, for your job. And the league for the organization. And congrats, Craig and Eric, for the podium.
Great job tonight. Yeah, no apologies needed, Hugo. I say you do better than a lot of us who speak English as a first language. So yeah, don't worry there. But no, great job, man. Go enjoy this one, and look forward to seeing you again on track here soon, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so that is the number 57 there, Hugo Galaz again, +9 tonight here, Andrew, to grab that podium spot. So then we're going to jump one spot forward here, and that is going to be the 36 of Eric Peterson. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the same strategy here, Andrew. I think, Eric, you pitted on lap 55, kind of during that little bit of the caution cycle, and that looked like that was the move that worked to get you in the fuel number, and then from there you're able to just kind of run a number and get to where you needed there at the end. I mean, just I guess take us through the strategy, and then kind of anything you maybe could have would have done to get that pesky Craig out of your way.
Yeah, there was nothing I could do to catch Craig. Matter of fact, he started behind me and went by me like I was standing still because I kept autographing that turn two wall. Just put my mark on there. I figured every lap I should get. I think I probably have at least 4 or 5 good marks over there on that lap two or that turn two wall. But yeah, the strategy worked out. I didn't even know I did it. I just figured I'd pit because we had that black flag. Like I got black flagged and it told me to pass the pace car. So I passed the pace car and then I went around and caught the pace car and then it was telling me to let the pace car go by. So I don't know what was going on with that little snafu right around lap, what was it, 45 or that first caution, and kind of weird stuff was going on, but got back into a rhythm. And then when that second caution came out, I just ducked into the pits thinking, okay, I'll just pit anyway. I'm far enough back where I don't mind running in the back. And it just happened to work out. I didn't even realize I did it, to be honest with you. There was no math going on in my head or in the Discord channel to say pit now. But it worked out because then I heard people starting to pit, leader in the pit, next leaders in the pits. And next thing I know, I went from 8, 7, 6, and right up the order to second. But yeah, Craig was in a class of his own tonight. He did a really good job. So did Hugo too. The whole group did. That was really nice to see. Good, clean racing. So it was fun. Good set.
Yeah, Eric, I was curious to know when you're doing this fuel safe situation and you have guys that are trying to push on the not fuel safe situation, how difficult is it to stay out of guys' way that are going by you that fast? And is that partially the reason why you painted the turn two wall?
Well, I painted the turn two wall all by my lonesome. There wasn't really anybody in front of me that was causing that. That was purely purely my own doing. But it was a little tough to run in dirty air through 1-2. But if you could just get a wing poked out in 3-4, you were pretty much flat out in 3-4. But 1-2 is tricky. It always is here. This is not one of my favorite tracks to run. So me getting a podium and finish second was a big surprise to me. But yeah, there were some cars out there that were fuel saving. It's still tough to get around them though, because if they can get off turn 2 fairly, with a good run off of 2, then it's still hard to catch them. At least it was for me. I'm not sure about the others, and then at the end there, I was just kind of letting cars go by, and I saw the leaders, like when they pit, the people that were ahead of me, and I'm like, yeah, they're not going to make it because Jeff Heisong pit, he pit. I think he was like just a half a lap short or something, but yeah, he was struggling. And I looked and saw where he pit, and there were people in front of me that had pit a couple laps before that, so I knew if he was having trouble, they were going to have trouble. But I didn't see where Craig had pitted that last stint. I think it was 95 maybe, but yeah, so he made it go that full 40, which was good for him. But I wasn't catching him. I was running map 1 that whole time. And yeah, he was just probably better through 1 and 2 than me, even though he was saving fuel.
Yeah, he's a wily fellow, that Craig. But I say at least you were one of the dark horse guys that knew how to not speed on pit road. Teed chimed in saying that unfortunately he sped in the pits, because I think you and Teed were on similar strategies there as well. So
yeah,
it was. I mean, I said you guys had the right call there.
Yeah, he ducked into the pits, and I told him I went in, and then he ducked in. I think he was behind me, and then that last stint, he just went one extra lap, not paying attention, and realized that he was going to run out of fuel. And then when he got to the pit line, he forgot to hit his pit speed limiter. So it wasn't even like he was slowed down enough, and then just went to go, put the gas to it, and then have the limiter help. But he just forgot to hit his button. So, but yeah, that was just a quick little lapse. I think he was more worried about trying to make it to his pits, because I think he was going to run out of fuel in pit lane. So.
Yeah, I know. When you get full focused on the non-normal stuff, yeah, it takes your attention away. But yeah, I mean, again, not obviously a bummer for him, but it seemed like he had a good time as well based on his comments in the chat. And I mean, like I said, for this not being your favorite track, a great qualifying too, 6th spot and finishing 4 spots into second. So great job. I can tell you as well, with that result, you did jump, I believe, 8 spots into 7th in points. So so a big jump there for you as well. Over we're I think 4 races in out of the 14, so got 10 more from here. So
yeah,
it's a great way to start off. As like I said, to get a good result at a track that you weren't feeling too great about. I mean, that's always a kind of feather in your cap.
It doesn't matter the league. It doesn't matter the car. It's the track. I'm not a fan of Gateway. I love watching races there. I tell you what, IndyCar puts on a great show here, but it's not a track for me. I don't know what it is about 1 and 2, but I can never get through there consistently. So to end up with a podium is to me just a great thing, to finish second. So I got lucky with that pit strategy, so that really helped out.
Well, go do some bragging rights on Jeff and Teed over there when you chat with them next, man. But before we let you go, definitely got to give you the floor here. Any thanks and shout outs for that runner up tonight, sir?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys in the booth. It's always fun to go back and watch the broadcast and see your comments. And obviously tonight I must have not been mentioned much because of the commentator's curse I always seem to get, but appreciate that. But yeah, and of course, Craig and all the Area 51 guys that put this league on. It's a fun league with a really great group of drivers, and it's a lot of fun to go out there and run a lot of green laps and get some green flag stops. So, and then of course Charlie and Jeff in the Discord, and Eric Schaus. We had a good time. We always have a good time in the Discord. So it's a lot of fun. And of course 40 Raceware and Whiplash Sim Cams. They always give you guys a little bucks. So that's always nice to see. So yeah, it's a good race.
Great job tonight, Eric. Look forward to see you on track again soon, sir.
All right. Thanks, Gal. Thanks, Drew. Take care.
Yep. See ya.
All right, Andrew. We got one last fella to chat with, and that is going to be our race winner in that number 99 machine. Let's get Craig pulled on in over here. Started from pole, wins the race. Obviously, just led flag to flag. Nothing happened. No speeding penalties. No dramas. No admin having to be put on during the middle of the race. Craig, you had a lot going on tonight, it sounds like.
That was, yeah, it was just a boring race. Nothing of interest happened tonight at all. It was just a clean front of the line race from start to finish, right? That's totally not what happened. No, I could not have gotten a better result for qualifying from the team. I mean, I think we started 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, yeah, Chris hit the wall enough to damage his car pretty severely on the first lap there. So that put him a lap down, and then he just never got the, it's all about, when the caution comes out, if you're the right guy as far as getting your lap back, and he just never ended up being in the right position to get his lap back. So unfortunate for him. Yeah, Jim had a problem, and he was running really, really well until he had his issues. But no, it went well for us. I not really sure what happened on that first caution. A whole lot of confusion going on, and none of us were really sure what was happening. I know that I tried to go in. I think Eric had damaged his car. Eric had damaged his car. It was out of fuel, I think, and I didn't realize that. So I went in to go into the pits because I realized that it was going to be the potential to fuel save one stop it from there. But I didn't realize that Eric was out of fuel and couldn't accelerate. So we lost a lot of positions, and I was so distracted by that I forgot to hit my pit limiter. So that then put us to the back of the field. And from there, we just passed guys when we could and made sure we made the number, and it worked out. It stayed green from there. So I was a little worried with whoever was right in front of me there in the last little stint. I think he had four laps older tires than me, so I wasn't sure if it was Nicholas. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it as well, but luckily he went in with I think 5 laps to go. So that's what we needed to win the race.
I'm curious to know if 40 laps of fuel was difficult for fuel saver, if that was a doable one, because we were talking about maybe like 38 or 39, but it is somewhat easy to save fuel around here if you're right around the right cars and everything. So when you pit on 95, did you know you could make it, or did you feel like you had to actually really work hard to save that fuel?
No, I at that point I knew I was going to make it. That number was a totally makeable number because I was making the number for 42, staying behind guys. So I just once I came back out, I think I spent the first 20 laps staying behind guys, trying to save enough fuel that I could then map 1 and run it to the end. And with 20 to go, I switched it into map 1 and just ran. And then once I was sure that's at that point when I was in map 1 and still not able to get around Cohen, that's when I was pretty sure he wasn't going to be able to make it, because that meant he was also in map 1, but he had no one in front of him, where I was right behind him, and I wasn't able to pass him. He had pace as well. He just didn't have the fuel, so that it worked out really well for us. And yeah, the numbers worked out how we needed them to work out.
So you love when a plan comes together. But I mean, and that thing is, Craig, I started off with tonight by mentioning that it was basically Edson and Stover that won the first 2 races, and they were first and third in points, but that they needed to keep an eye on you as well, because you were the only one that's had a top 5s all the 3 races so far this season. So, and then so let's say obviously now you've definitely thrown your hat into the ring, getting the win here tonight. Still a long ways to go, of course, but I mean, is that kind of the goal, is just keep putting yourself in those, like, the strategies, trying to maybe, I wouldn't say go off strategy, but just trying to run those numbers on the dot there?
I mean, I'm always playing every strategy. Like, I'm trying to balance the odds for everything. I'll never, do, one strategy and completely ignore the other. I'm always running multiple strategies. I mean, there's some guys that's like, I map 1 and I will be the fastest and at the front always. And in the IndyCar, it pays to have multiple options available to you, because everything can change at the drop of a hat. And with all the tools that we have in these cars, it's a strategy game as much as it's a driving game. So it pays to keep every strategy option. It's the same with anytime you're in a series that has tire limits and stuff. Sometimes it pays to intentionally not take tires and stuff. You've in the IndyCar, you've got to pay attention to all that type of stuff and make sure that you're not pigeonholing yourself into one strategy that ends up costing you what would have been a good result at the end.
Sounds like you need to drive the number 10 car in the IndyCar series.
No, I'll take it.
I mean the words that you just said are exactly what the championship leader of the IndyCar series right now is doing. They take advantage of every single different strategy and make sure they don't put themselves into one strategy that hurts themselves later in the race, and that's why they've had so much success. So that it really does sound like a championship winning mentality right there.
It was always Dixon's strategy in the end. It's Pillot's. Yeah, it's what makes a contender for the championship. And I like to think I'm always in the running. May not always come out at the top, but I at least keep whoever wins it honest. And if I can at least say I've done that, then I'm doing my job.
Definitely job done tonight, Craig. Before we let you go and enjoy this one, though, we got to let you, of course, any thanks and shouts for the win this evening.
Oh, I got to thank everyone over at 4D. I mean, we had the whole team. Didn't get all the results across the board that we wanted tonight, but we were at least able to take home the winner's trophy for the team. Jim's a good guy over at 4D Racewear, so good sponsor for the leagues and the teams. So get your shoes and gloves from him. And make the iRacing IndyCar guys happy for all the support he gives. And for the two of you doing the broadcast, thank you guys. And everyone at Area 51, I had to talk with a bunch of the admins from the other series this week. They're everyone in all the various leagues. If you like the NASCARs or like the IndyCars, come join Area 51.
All right, great job tonight, Craig. Go and enjoy this one before we get up over at Chicagoland next week. So congrats again, sir.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe.
All right, Andrew, that is our race winner in the number 99 machine. Craig winning from pole position, and I think pretty much right on cue. As I said, I've got thunder popping up over my side, so I think timing's looking pretty good here. But Matt, that was a good race tonight. I mean, a lot of strategy. The timing of the cautions played a role in do you do the one stop, do you do the two stop based on when you pitted. Unfortunately, some drivers just did not have the luck they were hoping for this evening. But then again, others were able to capitalize it and get some great results.
This is definitely one of those races, like I mentioned before, that we had no idea what was going to happen. And I think we put on a really good show tonight, and this track tends to do that. This track is very unpredictable in terms of pace, of the fuel strategy, and we even got to see some green flag pit stops tonight. We almost got through one whole cycle, and I think that more things are to come in future races here on the same mentality there.
Yeah, next week should be a lot of fun at Chicago, and very abrasive track, so that'll be fun to see how that one goes. If it's going to be kind of a bottom feeder, or are they going to be able to try to work the lanes a little bit? Off on the 31st, if my bad math is correct, which is not, it's the 29th it'll be an off week. And then back again on August 5th, and that's going to be at Watkins Glen, Andrew. So that'll be a different animal too, where it's going to be the fast version, so no bus stop. It'll be kind of the NASCAR layout, so they're going to be hauling the mail through that track up in New York. So that's going to be a couple fun ones coming up.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I won't be here with you next week. I'll be away on my summer vacation, but I'll be back for Watkins Glen and maybe even do a lap with some of you guys like I traditionally do on the road courses, if we could work something like that out.
I think that'd be a great idea. I think we can definitely make that happen. So, Andrew, as always, sir, it's a pleasure doing this with you. I definitely enjoy them, and yeah, definitely wish you a very, very safe travels with your trip. I look forward to hearing all about it, though, when you get back for the next one. Everybody that watches and supports us here, Matt and T, appreciate you guys chiming in there. Matt, great run tonight. I know the result wasn't what you want, but obviously the pace was there, so it's definitely something to keep your head up on as well. And then, yeah, we'll be back on Thursday night for the Friday night for the Super Speedway Truck Series, and then Sunday night as well for the Super Speedway Xfinity Series. So until then, as always, take care, stay safe, have a good night.